I asked ChatGPT to write a project charter, and this is what it came back with. Can artificial intelligence do the job of a project manager? Well, I don't think it can manage teams and people and stakeholders yet, but could it do some of the more onerous work? Could it do some of the work that maybe you wouldn't want to do? I think I can reasonably speak for most project managers when I say that reducing the amount of paperwork would probably be helpful to them. So, could AI pick up the slack? I think a lot of project managers would be quite happy to see a lot of their documentation work being picked up by the AI. So let's run a test. I'm going to see how good ChatGPT is at writing a project charter. If this is your first time using this, then go to openai.com and go to the sign up button up in the top there. Or if you previously used the system before, then just go to the login page. The way this works is you give it a prompt and you tell it what you want it to do. Firstly, I want to find out, does it know what a project charter is? It seems to have got the grasp of what a project charter is and why we need it. I then asked it what sections you'd find in a project charter. I wanted to know if it's actually got any knowledge about what the template itself would look like. Just so you know, I'm not going to bore you with the entire transcript of the whole conversation I had with the AI. Instead, I've published the transcript on my blog. There's a link in the description. Go and check it out. It's actually quite interesting. Okay, so it knows what needs to be in a project charter. Can it write one for me? So then we get to the heart of this. I asked it to write a project charter for a new project, but I needed to give it some details to work with, otherwise it'd just give us some generic nonsense. If I was starting a new project, and you know what it's like, you get a new project, people just give you the most basic information, expect you to go run off with it and get on with it. So I did the same to the AI. Here's the instruction I've given it. Write a project charter for a new project. The project goal is to train its workforce in how to use ChatGPT. The organization that the project is working on behalf of is an investment bank with 5,000 employees across 20 countries. The objective is for the project to be completed by the end of the year. The sponsor's name is Mr. Taylor. The budget for the project has not yet been determined. The bank is concerned about project risks that may impact the operations of the bank. It wants to see that risks are being considered and that lessons from other projects have been learned. Okay, moment of truth. I think it's done a really good job on the key deliverables here, coming up with the training curriculum, training sessions, employee proficiency, post-training support. Okay, it's got some good stuff there for the risks, I think. The fifth one, the data security concerns one, is an interesting one because what he's talking about there is data privacy and security concerns relating to using ChatGPT. Essentially, the question is, would a regulated financial institution allow its employees to put possibly market-sensitive information through a third-party AI tool? That's one for the compliance team to have a think about. You know what? As a first draft, this ain't bad. This ain't bad at all. And I think as a project manager to be able to generate this in about 10 seconds, I think they'll be happy with that as a head start on their piece of work. But let's push a little bit more. It's not done so well with the lessons learned. So I asked it to provide 3 lessons that are relevant to this project. I think that's reasonable. It's come up with lessons on communication, stakeholder engagement, having a tailored training approach for diverse audiences. And again, that data security matter comes up. The part where I think it's done really well here is it's interpreted the requirement to deliver this across about 20 countries, and it's factored in those diverse audiences. There are plenty of projects out there that have failed to apply this lesson, so well done for coming up with this one. It interpreted the original request for a timeline being of a year, where I wanted it to be until the end of this calendar year. So I'm going to rephrase that now and ask it to complete this work by the end of December. Let's see what happens. Being the typical sponsor from hell, I've crunched the timeline and said, no, you don't have a whole year, you have until the end of December. And by the way, it's July. And what it's come up with is a new timeline, which doesn't really mean anything to this, it's just numbers. The most interesting part though is the very last paragraph here, where it refers to the urgency of completing this within the desired time frame. Essentially, the AI recognizes that this is going to be a difficult task. I've got a little bit of regret now. I kind of wish I'd gone back and asked it to regenerate the lessons question or the risks question to see if the timeline now ends up being a key lesson or there's a key risk associated to it. Now I'm going to ask it what kind of resources we need on this project. What I actually meant was human resources. I wanted to know about the project team, but it took my question quite literally there, and it's come back with a very detailed set of resources, including human, but also financial, training, technology, and so on. Okay, I'm going to be really cheeky now. I hadn't set a budget for this project because I just made it up when I sat down and started doing this experiment. But I wonder if it's going to take a guess. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, it's come back with the perfect project management answer. It depends. So my findings from this experiment is that this tool is incredibly good at coming up with a really useful first draft for your project documentation. It understands what the documentation's for, why it's needed, what goes into it, and then can take the information you provide it with and turn that into something useful. It's limited, it is not going to give you a complete answer, but blimey, for a first draft, it's not bad. I'm going to have to think about what other kind of shortcuts are available to me using this tool. If you've got any ideas, let me know in the comments what kind of experiments you want me to run with it. In the meantime, check out the video here where I talk to Andy Kaufman about the impact of AI on project management, and don't forget to check out his course in the description as well. It is well worth your time.